It's Daybreak on Arise News. It's time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Let's begin with this day. It's leading with this. Despite global outcry, Buhari defends Tinubu's victory. And Tinubu says Obi's US agent impersonating the Deco leadership to discredit his free mandate. Court orders INEC to allow two plaintiffs use of temporary voters card in March 18 polls. And that's that from this day.
All right, let's look at the Punch. The Punch, Lagos train bus crash. NRC Lasema blame driver as FG orders probe. You had some riders. Bus driver reckless, ignored safety warning by railway staff. This is coming from the official. 6 killed, families donate blood as 29 critically injured battle for survival. Lagos suspends political campaigns. Buhari, Tinubu, Atiku, others mourn. Lagos is mourning for 3 days concerning that accident. All right, INEC false judgment permitting temporary voter card for polls, says it will go to court to defend its stance. Let's look at some of the stories there. Visa revocation, court bar CEO from running Seplat, and roadblock, victims tackle lawless soldiers over extortion and harassment. Of course, there you see the picture of the accident that Punch is referring to, where the train collided with a BRT bus.
This is the Daily Sun. Black day in Lagos, Oyo, Enugu and Borno. More than 30 die in train auto accidents. The terrorists killed 26 in Borno and 1,332 terrorists and families surrender. Anxiety has called OK's temporary voters card for card used for Guba election. The people in the papers are not reporting that story as it's supposed to be. It's been just two plaintiffs who have been granted that. Cash crunch worsens as banks run out of old new Naira notes. An appeal court reserves judgment in PDP suit against Tinubu Shetima. A motorist sleep at filling stations as petrol scarcity worsens in Abuja.
Right, The Guardian. Coal shipment cost Nigeria more than $2.23 billion, suffered in 2019. The SPAT reported positive trend. Palm oil industry still struggling. And below that palm oil pictures you see there. 1 week after Supreme Court ruling, CBN silence stokes confusion. And on the top mast, governorship election and lessons of the postponement. Pilot training fee hits 20 million naira as NCAT, that's NCAT, IAC, increase tuitions.
This is the Tribune. 6 die, 70 injured in train. Lagos government staff bus collision. Sanwo-Olu declares a 3-day mourning, calls for blood donation. And court orders INEC to allow 2 voters to use temporary voter cards in the March 18 poll.
That particular paper reported it correctly. All right, Daily Express. Suwera blast Lineker. Now will BBC make him say sorry? Marsh Lord Fiddler on the roof star dies at 87.
The Financial Times. US President Joe Biden unveils $6.8 trillion budget, challenges Republicans and raises taxes on the rich. Bank of Japan keeps low rates as Kuroda leads final monetary policy meeting. And that's the outgoing Bank of Japan governor. Russian oligarchs Friedman and Avon to offload Alpha Bank stake for $2.3 billion.
The Guardian revealed at least 500 people died after ambulance delays last year.
And the Eye says levelling up plans under threat as HS2 hit by cuts and 2-year delay.
All right, let's look at what this day is saying. Let's bring in Emmanuel Bello first. They said TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Emmanuel, glad to have you join us on Daybreak this morning.
Good morning.
All right. This day newspaper is reporting that despite global outcry, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, defends Tinubu's victory. It has a right there. It says he had no plan to annul 2023 presidential poll. Amechi rallies voters for coal versus traders in a village. All right. Court orders INEC to allow use of temporary voters card in March 18 polls. Like we said there, it's just two people that will benefit. Tinubu, obese US agent impersonating Nadeko leadership to discredit my free mandate. All right.
Does Nadeko still exist?
I wonder.
Say someone is impersonating.
Yeah, oh well, yeah. Buhari, Atiku, Tinubu, Bajabiamila, Sanwo-Olu, Oyebanji, others mourn as train accident, claims 6 lives and 70 injured. All right, Emmanuel will bring you in to take your peek and preview some of these stories.
Well, as far as picks are concerned, I think a story that concerns everybody is still this election, and its aftermath. Everybody is talking about it, and since the election, that's what we've been reporting: the condemnations and the counter-condemnation and the crisis of INEC itself, the believability of that organization or agency to be able to carry out its function as an unbiased umpire in the thing. These are the kernel of some of these reports. And no matter the angle you look at it, it's still the same thing. The crisis of, the believing INEC and INEC's efforts on its own to, try to, bring some kind of, restore some kind of, faith in Nigerians about him. But because INEC is now on the spot, Professor Mahmoud himself is on the spot. And the president couldn't do more than what he's doing, and which is the fact that he's defending this election, defending the outcome, and of course also defending, his own legacy. Because this president has always said that he is going to bequeath in this country a transparent election. Almost everyone believed him that he was going to do that, but these outcomes belied that kind of hope that he was raising, and that he's going to be, Nigerians were ready to take anything only to see a better day, to see a better outcome. This is not exactly the outcome that Nigerians were waiting for. So the president is back in the trenches now, in that story, trying to defend himself, defend the election, sell it to the rest of the world, because there's been almost a unanimous, gang up, if you wish, that this is not the right kind of outcome that the world was expecting, considering the assurances we've gotten from INEC, and even the budgets, the kind of money that's gone into this election, mind-boggling, sums of money. And then suddenly you had those issues of postponements again happening now. And of course, the fears that even maybe down the line there might be a rerun of the presidential election. So it's a terrible time for everyone, and the president's voice must be heard. And I think that's what the lead story of this day was seeking to push. That in spite of the condemnation around this election, the president is coming out again defending this election, because this is also about him. Indy, if you agree, this is also about him. This is also about his legacy. This is about the promise he gave Nigerians, he made Nigerians. And even when those cash issues, those redesigning of the naira happened, Nigerians were prepared to take it, just so that it would be a cashless kind of election. That was what we were all hoping to happen, and then suddenly the outcome came this way. So here of course, we have to defend his rules, his place in history, because for a very long time people remember that, and now he's even having to defend himself that there is not going to be a cancellation of results like we had in the June 12th crisis. What's the name of that? It's a popular word that is always used when you cancel elections like that. I can't think of it right now. But he's saying yeah. So he's saying that there's no annulment, because there are echoes of that in certain area that this could be annulled after all. People not seeing Tinubu being sworn in. But of course, Tinubu is on the front page of these days still saying that his opponents are just after him, and that they're doing everything possible to take away his victory.
Well, we're looking forward to his inauguration, Emmanuel. Many Nigerians are having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that the governorship elections won't be holding tomorrow. It's now been postponed by 1 week. But the socio-economic research firm SBM Intelligence is now estimating that the postponement could cost Nigeria more than $2 billion.
Well, they're talking about the cost of the postponement, because yesterday, Kenneth, we were talking about it, that, look, some people have actually made plans, traveling plans, or the campaigns have voted a lot of monies for, to move people, help people move people to the places of elections and all of that. And of course, a postponement would mean for the campaigns, essentially, even before the voters, for the campaigns, essentially would mean more money is spent on adverts, on those trips to do campaigns and all of that. So that will stretch their pockets and their finances seriously. But now the Guardian is reporting that beyond that, the postponement will cost this staggering amount of monies, even in preparation, even for INEC and the rest of that. And that's why some people have condemned the postponement and said, look, INEC should have had all this thing thought out in the first place. And the way Mahmoud, the INEC boss, Kenneth, gave all the impression that he was really on top of this job, and that this is, and a lot of Nigerians, invested a lot of hope in him. That, look, he knows what he's saying. Each time he talks, he speaks with this professorial kind of aura. So you were hoping that, yes, we won't have this kind of flip-flops. But here we are, in the middle of what is a postponement. Nobody ever thought at the start of this exercise that we're going to wake up one morning and then we're told that elections are being postponed. But here we are, and who knows whether the worst is still ahead. But the story is
worst or the best.
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at this cup. I'm looking at this cup as half full. You're looking at it as half. I'm looking at it as half empty. You're trying to look at this as half full. But then a lot of Nigerians are apprehensive that I hope this is. Nobody thought tomorrow wasn't going to be the closure to this election. A lot of people thought by tomorrow they are done and dusted. These elections are over. They will go back to their normal lives. Those nairas will be back. But it's double the crisis. I spoke with a lot of people yesterday who think that the current cash crunch, because there's just no cash anywhere again to be found, whether the old or the new. The problem suddenly doubled. And so some people say that it is this postponement that has caused it. And they were hoping that tomorrow the elections will be over. A lot of Nigerians just want to go back to their normal lives. Whoever wants to, win elections in whatever ways, they couldn't be bothered. A lot of Nigerians are more worried about this cash crunch crisis, and they are tying it to the elections. And with the postponement, this seems to have actually again stretched their patience, stretched their resilience, stretched their ability to take anything to bear with the situation. So yes, the postponements have really cost Nigerians a lot of money, cost the agencies itself a lot of money, cost their campaigns a lot of money. That's the cost of this postponement.
Well, quickly, we can't let this go. The train crash in Lagos is a Black Thursday. Myself and okay, we're discussing how there is this we'll call it device or system, barrier where it's automatic. The moment a train is coming, it locks up. So you don't even have the opportunity of trying to break through, because the officials are claiming that driver broke through when others were told to wait.
Well, of course, there will be back and forth around the issue of blaming and who's to blame and who's not to blame. But it's tragic, and although the figures are out on that, just about 6 people died, but it's not just about the number of those who died. It's this tragedy of
even one.
Yeah, exactly. Is this tragedy around the whole issue, and almost very symbolic, if you ask me. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit spiritual, kind of fix into the mood or place into the mood of the country right now, where a lot of people are not happy. And then in Lagos, you have that very horrendous crash. It looks as if it's symbolic of the general air of mourning and sadness that is pervasive. Everyone seems to be feeling those pains, and then in the middle of nowhere, and in Lagos of all places, you have that kind of almost unusual kind of accident. I was talking to someone yesterday. They say they can't remember in their living memory. I think my mother was telling me that she can't remember in her living memory when a train actually crashed into a bus. Normally, like you say, those barricades are there and those divisions are there. So this is strange. We need to really look into it. A recurrence would be such a serious disaster. We just pray that it doesn't happen. But for now, all we can say is, well, may the soul of those departed rest in peace, and that yes, it's a serious crisis. From the human angle, it's a day of mourning, not just for Lagos but for the rest of the country.
Amen. That it doesn't happen again.
It's a good place to leave it, Emmanuel. That's Press Preview. Let's hear from you. Follow us on Twitter at Rise TV. We're streaming live on YouTube. Stay with us.